Hello, have you ever wondered how risky a stock is? Have you ever wondered if there's actually a tool that can help you figure that out? I actually have a tool for you, so stay tuned. I'm going to show you what it's all about here in a second. Alright, so the tool that I use actually is from NASDAQ. It's basically a stock assessment tool. They actually have it online. I'm going to go ahead and show you here in a second. On my computer, I'll show you how you can actually go about doing and testing different stocks. Is this a perfect example of how you can test stocks versus another stock with the risk? Is it going to tell you, how risky it is exactly? No. I mean, basically, you have to always do your own research. Any stock you can buy and things like that can lose money for you, so just remember that. This tool just basically gives you another tool to really figure out if a stock is risky or if it's actually a fairly stable stock. So this comes from a pretty big name, NASDAQ, and it basically, does help you with those type of decisions. Would I use it for my final decision on buying a lot of money of stock? Never. But basically, if you want just another tool that you can use, stay tuned and I'm going to show you a little bit about it. So one of the main things this tool can do is it basically just tells you how volatile a stock is or how risky a stock is versus another stock. And I think it can do a fairly good job at that because it can actually use data on that. It can tell you basically how much a stock has gone up and down over the course of its lifetime. It can't really tell you the overall risk because it can't tell you like if there's going to be a CEO scandal or something like that that's going to bring a company down. So you can't tell you can't predict the future, but it can predict the past. So if you actually put two different stocks in there, it could tell you, one stock is a lot riskier than the other one. So again, just remember that it's predicting really the past off of past data. It's not predicting the future. If you remember that, you'll be safe. If you start putting things in there and just buying them based off this tool, it's not going to go too well for you. So just keep that in mind. Just a tip that I want to give everyone out there, and go ahead and use it as you see fit, but I hope it helps a little bit. Alright, hello everyone. So today I'm going to show you guys this tool. It's the NASDAQ Stock Risk Tool, NASDAQ Stock Risk Tool right here. If you type it into Google, it's usually the third one, but obviously that can change in a search. So just look for this Risk Assessment Tool by NASDAQ, and I'll put the link up here, but it's basically nasdaq.com/symbol/T/risk, which I'll put up online here. But go ahead and click on that link, and it's going to bring you to a page that looks like this. Sometimes this page actually doesn't load like this. Sometimes it has issues. I've been noticing that. If it does, what you want to do is click on this little arrow here a few times and keep clicking it until you see this graph show up down here. Make sure there's at least one stock in here, a symbol, and then click on this, and then it'll show up this graph. I've seen some errors lately with this, so just keep that in mind. I think something's wrong with the code or something. But this has worked for many, many years, so I definitely do trust it. It is fairly accurate. What you want to do, though, is basically you can type in stock symbols here and see their relative risk to other stocks. Now, granted, for instance, it's going to list the S&P 500 as an 84 and the NDX, the NASDAQ, is 114 as far as risk. Those numbers don't inherently mean much by themselves, but you can kind of see what they mean, when you compare them to other stocks. So basically, you can see that these are relatively in the green zone, which means that they're not as risky as something that would be way on this end of the spectrum. So a couple of the stocks that I like to invest in, CGO is one. I'm going to go ahead and type that in here and click on the little arrow here. You'll notice that it puts the stock right in here. So it says CGO, it's a 107. So that basically the risk there falls right in between the S&P and the NDX. And that makes a lot of sense because that stock is made up of a ton of other stocks. It's basically a closed-end fund, and it's got a high dividend, but it's pretty stable, and it's got a little bit of risk there. So I would actually think that that's where it would fall. So if you want to go ahead and look at a couple other stocks that I like to invest in, one of the stocks that's actually an energy stock, which I actually recommend in one of my other videos, please check that out, is a DNP, and that's a stock that generally is fairly low risk. If you noticed right here, again, I got the error, so I'm going to go ahead and keep clicking this, and let's see if it comes back. This is the problem that I'm having. So I clicked it like 4 times, and it came back when I clicked it again. So there it is. So it finally came in. So keep in mind that that's happening right now. But DNP finally showed up, and it's basically a 60. It's one of the lower stocks I've ever seen for risk. Granted, this is just relative. It's basically looking at past data. It cannot predict the future. So it's basically generating the risk based off of what it's done in the past, not what it's going to do in the future. So that's a huge thing to remember here. Nothing's guaranteed with this, so don't use this as your only tool for sure. But anyways, you'll see that this is a lot less risky than just investing in these. So that's actually a low risk stock. Also, check out one of my other videos. I show you where you can actually get a 7% dividend. It's like a 7.05% dividend. It's paid monthly also, so it's like 0.6 or 0.7% per month with DNP. Another stock that's fairly risky. I'm just thinking of some risky stocks just to kind of prove to you that this actually works correct. PLM it's another mining stock that they're trying to get permits on up in Minnesota. And so if I click on this one, again, I got the error. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this a few times, and we'll see it's going to take a couple times to come up. It just came up again. So this stock out here is PLM. You'll see that this is a 252, and it's basically going to be a lot more risky. It's between 200 and 300. So relative to these other ones over here, it's going to carry a lot more risk, which makes sense because it's an individual stock that hasn't even started mining yet. And so there's a lot of risk involved with money and getting everything up and running. So, you know, as you can see, this tool makes a little bit of sense there, and it's something to help you out. Just another little tool that you can have in your tool chest. Let me go ahead and do VZ, which I believe is Verizon. That's at 100, and that's basically going to, you know, that's a very stable stock. It's been, you know, carries a higher dividend, but it's been fairly stable over the years, and that's actually not a bad stock at all to invest in. So, but when you get into other stocks that are out there, obviously they can get a lot more risky, and you can see some really high-risk stocks. The stocks that I like to invest in, though, are never, you know, too risky there. I always like to look, you know, long-term. I don't like to take a huge chance with my money. So, all right, so just to kind of go through a couple other stocks as well. General Mills is GIS. I'm going to go ahead and check that out. So again, that's a 129. It makes a little bit of sense. It's a fairly stable stock, but it's going to be a little bit more risky than some of these other ones over here. Trying to think of a couple other stocks that are out there. BP might be something that you might want to look at. It's in a 111. Again, that's going to be relative to some other stocks out there. Roku, we can definitely take a look at that. Now actually, if you look at that, that's actually listed as a 359. So that's one of the higher ones out here. And if I go back over here, I'll see that this is Roku Inc. According to this is going to be more volatile and more risky for you. So keep that in mind on this stock as well. So anyways, you guys get to see how this tool works. And again, please just use this in relative to other stocks. You can't use these numbers mean nothing. They just mean something based off of what these other stocks are. So this may be 3.5 times more risky than these stocks. It doesn't tell you how risky, but it just tells you kind of a general percentage of how much risk are you putting up. With that said, though, you can actually make a lot more money in a lot of cases with these type of stocks. So where there's risk, there's reward, but just keep in mind that there's a lot of risk too. So, okay, so after showing you the tool, is it a tool that I would use to make final decisions with? No, you never want to do that with investing. Anytime you're investing, you can lose money, so keep that in mind. It's really easy to lose money. This tool is just kind of another thing you can use and actually add it to your toolkit just to see, you know, before you make a purchase, after you've done all your research, you go ahead and look at how risky this tool may say the stock is, and it may give you a little bit more insight, a little bit more information. But by all means, don't use this as your only deciding factor when buying stocks and things like that. So otherwise, it's not going to turn out good. But at the end of the day, it's another tool you can use. So I hope you liked it, and I'll talk to you guys soon again. Oh yeah, one more thing about my channel. My channel is actually about investing and technology, so it's basically both. You need money to buy technology. I like both of them, so I'm going to kind of do tech reviews and then also some investment advice. When I say advice, it's not really what to buy. It's just going to be some techniques that I use, number one, tools like I did today, number two, and just various things that I found, like the best savings accounts, the best credit cards, things like that as well. So if you like that and you also like technology, please subscribe to my channel. I have, you know, a limited amount of subscribers right now. I'm trying to grow the channel. Just started a couple months, maybe about a month or two ago. And if you guys can all help me out and hit the like button and also subscribe, that would be great. Talk to you hopefully next week, and we'll go from there. Bye. Oh yeah, and sorry about the hat. Today's a casual day for me, so just wanted to apologize about the hat today. If you guys are interested in dividend stocks also, like monthly dividend stocks, just check out my other videos. I'm just starting out, like I told you. I have a couple good videos on monthly dividends and stocks that I recommend. Not actually recommend, but some strategies I recommend for investing in dividend stocks and especially monthly dividends. So check out my channel. You're going to see a couple more stocks on that, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon on that. Alright, so thanks again for watching, and if you can please subscribe to my channel, it's going to help me out. I'm just starting out, and the more subscribers I get, the better. So thanks again. Talk to you soon.